If there's one thing that Black Clover is doing phenomenally well for me is building up the character Asta. I I'm really starting to like his character. It just seems like I've never. It's been a long time since I've seen so much potential in a character. It's just it's awesome. I love the hints. They're showing something new with him, almost like the past couple chapters. It has been awesome, and overall, I think this was a really good chapter. Not perfect. There's a few things I want to point out, mostly about the art itself. There was one particular panel in this where I stopped and I really looked at the detail, and it was a panel of Asta, and he was, and I'm not really sure, for whatever reason. I've seen a couple translations where his name is Asta and Aster. I'm not really sure what that's about. I don't know if it's translation issues or something, so forgive me on that. But it seems like there was one panel with Asta drawn out in a pose with this new sword. In the last chapter, he got blown into a room, and it seems like he got a new sword of sorts that seems to be lighter, so he can swing it around faster, what it seems like. But I was looking at this panel, and I really just looked at Asta's character design, and I really like it. It was so, in this particular panel, was just so detailed, and I really liked it. And then I was reading later on in the chapter, and it seemed like, for whatever reason, I don't know if the author illustrator was in a rush, and it seemed like a lot of the art in a lot of the smaller panels just suffered and looked kind of meh, and some of it looked kind of confusing as to what it actually was. I haven't had that problem with any of the other chapters. That's just kind of what it was with this chapter, and that kind of bugged me a little bit. But overall, it was really cool. We got to see Asta get the new sword. We got to see a little bit more on the past of Mr. Ice Guy, who's being a douche right now, seemingly for pretty good reason. It seems like there was this, what looked like a girl, and I think it was a girl. Sometimes it's really hard for me to tell, but it seems like in his past he was part of an experiment, obviously, and there was this girl who he became really good friends with, and then, of course, only one of the group of experimental guinea pigs is allowed to live, so they have to fight to the death, and she automatically just turns on him, and of course he ends up being the last one surviving. And of course we get to see a little bit more on the chick whose name I believe is Noelle. I am terrible with names, but we'll get to see a little bit on her past with this other chick from the other guild. I want to call them guilds, but whatever. We get to see a little bit of her past too, and it's kind of what we already expected, that they said through words. They provided a little bit of illustration with this backstory, but they didn't really tell you anything new that they haven't explained from the past. She's part of a royal bloodline, and she can't control her magic. She's kind of shunned for it. Yada yada yada. But then this chapter seemed pretty short. At least that's what it seemed like. But then we get to see Asta move around with his new sword, saving his teammate Noelle, who is what I believe her name is. And I mean, it was just awesome. It seems like for this guy, this is what he needed. This smaller sword, which I want to know what happened to his other one. I wonder if, like, maybe his other one transformed into this smaller sword for to fit the current situation or something, because it seems like his other bigger sword is gone, unless I'm just missing something, which is completely possible. But he got the smaller sword. He's able to move faster with it, which seems really cool. But it doesn't really seem like he's able to really cut or hurt this guy with this sword until he unleashes a new attack, which I'm really curious about, because it seems like Noelle finally approves of Asta, which is pretty surprising, because she's like, oh, I'm royalty, but then she approves of Asta. He's the only guy with no sort of magic abilities that she approves of, and he pretty much makes it his mission now to save not only his teammates but everybody. And he unleashes this magic attack where he's like, where it's like I don't know, from the art, this is one of the panels that looked a little odd. It kind of looked like a bubble, but the way it blended together, it kind of looked like he shot some projectiles too, but the projectiles, I'm more than positive, came from the ice guy. And then he unleashed some sort of bubble attack, which is maybe some sort of like 360-degree defense of some sort. But I mean, it's just awesome. The main thing this chapter did was just make me wonder about Asta some more, see all the potential this guy could possibly have, and that was awesome. Not a lot of fighting, but a good bit. We get to see some backstory on a character we already kind of knew the backstory on, that we didn't need any visual representation for. And then we had some backstory on the ice guy, which was kind of nice. It gave us some more information on the kingdom or whatever that he's from. They seem a little more fucked up anyway. But overall, I'm going to give this chapter about a 6.5, maybe a 7. Didn't really do anything new. Provided some backstory, showed Asta off a little bit. Those are the good things it did. Provided some backstory on a character that we already knew about through words in the past. And that's pretty much it. Overall, pretty good chapter. Can't really complain a whole lot. Definitely can't wait to see more of Asta's potential and what exactly he can do. Super excited for that. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys have any feedback on how I can make these videos better, let me know in the comment section below. And if you did like the video, if you guys could give it a like or subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. And thank you all so much for the love and support you left on the previous videos. It has been awesome. I love you all, and I will see you all next time. I am out.